What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the CPA Zone, the podcast where we discuss tax strategies and accounting tips for entrepreneurs and real estate investors. My name is Ryan Pulis, and our company, the Pulis Group, offers tax planning and advisory services for entrepreneurs like you. Whether it's bookkeeping, tax planning, or CFO services that you're looking for, we've got you covered.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the CPA Zone. So today, we're going to dive into one of the most powerful and sometimes misunderstood tools in real estate, and that's leverage. So leverage is simply using other people's money, usually a bank's, to buy real estate. When it's done right, leverage can really supercharge your returns. But if it's done wrong, you're going to wish that you never got into the deal in the first place. So let's keep it simple. Imagine that you have $100,000 in cash sitting around and you want to invest in real estate. So maybe you can buy one property for $100,000 somewhere that cash flows great. You've got no debt. You own it free and clear. That's fantastic. But instead, let's say you took that same $100,000 and used it as like a 20% down payment. So now you can buy $500,000 worth of real estate with that same money. Same cash, but 5 times the real estate. So that's what leverage does for you. And the best part is if the property or the real estate you purchase appreciates, say 5%, well, you're making 5% on $500,000 rather than a 5% appreciation on $100,000. So that really helps you build wealth faster. Now, let's kind of look at this from a tax angle, the tax side of things. When you borrow money to buy real estate, you also get some tax benefits. So A, you get the mortgage interest deduction. That's great. The interest you pay on the loan is deductible against your rental income. I mean, yes, you're paying the bank, but getting the tax deduction helps soften the blow a bit. And depreciation, this is the big one. So even though you financed your property, using our example, if you financed 80% with the bank's money, well, you get 100% of the depreciation deduction. So that means you're lowering your taxable income with depreciation on an asset that you only partially paid for so far. That's a pretty sweet deal. Now, there are some risks when it comes to using leverage. So, before you go out and borrow every dollar you can get your hands on, let's kind of talk a bit about some of the risks. So, if your property ends up sitting vacant, you lose a tenant and it's taking some time to turn the place over, get it running out again, maybe the market dipped, you're still on the hook to pay the bank. So too much leverage can put a squeeze on your cash flow and really make a great investment kind of turn bad. So you want to make sure you use leverage responsibly. You don't want to go out and just borrow money that is not producing income. Make sure that you're kind of running the numbers and see what you can afford. And make sure you're keeping reserves. You want to make sure you have enough cash set aside to cover vacancies, repairs, in different emergencies. You should factor that into your calculation. So when you're looking at a property, doing your underwriting, you should have a percentage of income being set aside for reserves for things just like this. And then stress test your deal. So what happens if rent goes down 10% in your market? What if interest rates go up? What would that do to your future purchases? Hopefully, if you're buying a single family rental home, you're probably locked into a fixed rate. If you're in the commercial space, though, your notes are going to mature and have to be refinanced after 5 years or so. So if rates go up, what happens to your deal then? And just don't let yourself get overextended. So just because the bank will lend to you doesn't mean you should always borrow it. It just, most importantly, run the numbers. Don't get emotional about a deal. The math isn't going to lie. So the main point here, the power of leverage is real. It's the reason many everyday investors are able to build up a substantial amount of wealth through real estate. But like any tool, it works best when used intelligently. So that about does it for today's episode of the CPA Zone. If you found this helpful, just do me a favor, share it with a friend who's thinking about investing in real estate. And as always, if you want to dive deeper into a particular topic or tax strategy, just leave us a comment. Let me know. Until next time, have a great day.
Are you interested in becoming a client? Click the Discovery Meeting link in the show notes to schedule a free call to discuss our services. So that about does it for this episode of the CPA Zone. Thanks for listening, and I hope you found something valuable that you can take away. We are taking on new clients, and if you'd like to work with us, then go to our website and fill out the client intake form on our contact page. This can be found at thepulicegroup.com/contact. That's THEPULICEGROUP.com/contact.